Hey, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Hey, in this video, I wanted to address the #1 way I think we can bring back the excitement in the Destiny 2 PvP arenas. So time for some raw honesty. Destiny 2 was designed with amazing amounts of thought, and so many of the perks and exotics clearly show that they were made very intentionally for very specific purposes. And there's so much like synergy going on in those subclasses and in the way that those subclasses interact with various pieces of exotic armor and weapons. But here's the but. While all this is true, the unfortunate reality is that Destiny 2 PvP lacks a certain level of dynamic excitement, which is so clearly displayed in the fact that the drive to play it is way down. I mean, think about it. So many players and content creators and streamers have confessed to an apparent lack of enthusiasm to play Destiny 2 PvP. They're moving on so fast after launch to other titles, not just recreationally, but regularly, and even claiming that other titles are their main games to play now, and not just play, but also to upload and to stream. I mean, my clan roster is drying up in-game, and players are dipping. So the question is why? Well, here's the #1 issue that I see, and I'll talk about how I truly believe it can be fixed. And it can be tuned so that Destiny 2 becomes a game that is highly playable and replayable and addicting and will keep players engaged for years to come. I truly believe that'll happen. But this is the problem. Destiny 2 has unfortunately taken the skill floor and the skill ceiling and compressed it so tightly that the highly skilled players are no longer given the opportunities to display their skill regularly, and average to below average players are no longer seeing definitive proof of growth and improvement. There have been Twitter conversations, press releases, articles, and more where developers have openly stated that certain features and changes were implemented into the game to deliberately handicap high skill play. One example is where a well-known PvP dev openly conversed on Twitter about how in-air accuracy was reduced to be worse than in-air accuracy in Destiny 1 because average to below average players have a hard time playing against really good players who know how to use their vertical space and their jump abilities to get the drop on them. They wanted the high-skill players to lose their ability to land shots from the air regularly so that they would spend more time on the ground with players who don't know how to pull off those maneuvers. So let me summarize what this means in one statement. Destiny 2 no longer offers as many opportunities for high-skill players to display their skill. All right, let me say that again. D2 no longer offers as many opportunities for high-skill players to show their skill. In Destiny 1, high-skill players were given lots of opportunities, right? Over time, those opportunities were whittled down after a series of various patches. Their ammo economy was targeted, their weapons that rewarded accurate gunplay were targeted, and the abilities that were much easier for players to use were untouched or buffed, making it easier for the less mobile, less skilled players to keep up. Now, that trend continued into Destiny 2. And now what that leaves us with is an environment where anyone can succeed. But the gameplay is much more watered down. It's less exciting. Think about it. Destiny Year 1 and Year 2 gameplay was extremely dynamic. I mean, average and below average players were also given the opportunity to gauge their personal performance and given the tools to see personal growth. They had their individual kill count and a separate assist counter. They were placed in lobbies with people of varying skill and able to compare themselves against other players in that lobby. And on top of that, high skill players were given the chance to shine. They could slide into a room full of opponents and use a variety of weapons and abilities to juggle and use to get a team wipe in a matter of seconds without actually using a super ability or heavy ammo. The end result we have now is an environment where anyone can succeed at the expense of creating an environment where displays of skill are reduced and watered down. I mean, I want to see I want to see Lucky and Buttwipe, Giggs, Triple Wreck, Luminosity, Grenader Jake, Real Crafty, Hovey, Dr. Lupo, Sir Demetrius, Encooch, and other players. I want to see them all pumped to come into the Destiny directory, and I want to see them on Twitch hold 500, maybe 3,000 viewers apiece, because D2 gives them an environment where they can shine, and they can produce game. This is important, and they can produce gameplay match after match after match that is exciting and dynamic, gameplay that gets their viewers excited, like out of their minds, making them eager to fire up the game themselves and try to learn a thing or two from these players and replicate some of it. Now, there are a number of specific changes that can bring back that excitement, and that's for another video. I just wanted to speak to the overarching issue today, and I'm not looking for a game where I can stomp other players in. I'm actually personally, and you guys, if you've watched my content over the years, you know this, I'm actually an advocate for skill-based matchmaking and ranked playlists, obviously, where high-skill players can show their prowess against other players of their skill level, and the average to below average players can play against similar skill levels and have the opportunity to grow and see themselves increase their rank and get excited about it. But that's another topic altogether. Bottom line is that Bungie has a rich history, and these are some brilliant game designers. They really are. And I think they'll make changes. They'll give us reasons to come back and get pumped about this game, and I firmly believe that the ticket to long-lasting enjoyment is to make PvP an equal priority to PvE content. And I believe that we'll see the powers that be making choices to make PvP a priority and invest the time, the energy, the manpower, and the capital into enhancing the PvP experience in D2. And I'm pumped to see that happen. I really am. The game is really good, and all the potential is in there, already built into the game. Some fine-tuning will make this, honestly, an incredible PvP game, no doubt. So thank you for listening, and I do hope to catch you in the Crucible.